A habit of doing things that unsuccessful people find difficult is developed by successful people. All people are products of their habits, according to Warren Buffett, who also told Bloomberg that most people are unaware of the bad financial habits that repeatedly rob them of the opportunity to become wealthy. While some habits have a direct impact on one's health or personal life, others have a more direct impact on one's pockets. As far as Warren Buffett is concerned, the only way to raise your life's financial worth is to simply replace your bad financial habits with better ones. Are you interested in this topic? Then type "let's go" in the comment right now. Just comment "let's go" when I see your comment. I'll give you a heart. And if you want to help the channel, leave a like and subscribe. It takes less than a second and helps the channel a lot. Prospective millionaires. Although Warren Buffett is worth approximately $16 billion, he leads a relatively modest life. He still resides in the house he purchased for $31,000 in 1957, prefers regular transportation over a private business jet, and plays bridge instead of hosting parties. It is this unusual combination of immense wealth and a simple life that has captivated the attention of the world since Buffett's early years. The appeal of print distribution to me was the freedom to be my own boss. I made my own decisions, and nobody disturbed me at 5 or 6 o'clock. He distributed 500 newspapers every day in the morning for a penny each. Moreover, one of the wealthiest people on the planet, Warren Buffett, has always loved to read. His aunt gave him the World Almanac, which he still keeps with him, and he still spends 5 to 6 hours a day reading. Although Buffett's business flourished in the latter half of the 20th century, he is still active in the new millennium. In addition, Buffett diligently tracks market trends and freely gives advice to help others start down the path to financial success. I'm sure some people will ignore this, but Warren claims that even if your wallet is empty right now, you can still build wealth with a few simple money habits. The first is smart spending, which may seem insignificant at first, but statistics show that over 65% of people do not know how to manage their money. People frequently choose where to spend money they haven't yet earned, according to Warren Buffett. In this situation, Buffett suggests valuing future purchases in terms of the number of hours spent earning the money rather than the amount of money. Consider how many hours you work each month and how much money you make. Determine the value of an hour of labor for yourself and compare the result to the cost of the desired item. For example, if you make $4,000 but would want to spend at least $40,000 on a brand new Tesla, think about if it is worth it. No matter how much money you make, Buffett advises people to plan for all sources of income and expenses. The problem with having $1 million is that it's a lot of money. You have to keep track of it, or it could disappear. Perhaps it would be better to look for additional sources of income before you start saving up for it. Simply vanish, and you won't even know where it went, argues Buffett's second habit, which is solely money. Works to generate some extra cash rather than just sitting in a piggy bank. You must understand the workings of the investment mechanism. If you simply keep your savings, they will decrease in value as inflation lowers their real purchasing power. To avoid this, the funds should at least be moved to a savings account, where the interest rate will outpace inflation. However, this is not a means of making money. You must invest money in order to make money, but in order to do so, you must think through your options and figure out how to avoid losing your savings. It's not necessary for you to put money into stocks. Start tomorrow by getting a basic understanding of how investing works. Buffett states spend some time learning the fundamentals of investing. You can begin by watching the news every day, rather than glancing through Facebook or Instagram first thing in the morning. Allocate 10 to 20 minutes for some informative reading. Examine the daily movements in stocks. Before I continue, I would like to ask you to support this video and give it a thumbs up so that more people can learn about this important financial information. By the way, the stock returns of American tech giants like Facebook and Google are 30% annually. Isn't it great that social networks can not only eat up your time, but also bring in a lot of money? Third habit. Work under odd circumstances. This advice from Bubba may seem a bit odd, but the billionaire is a big fan of analyzing global market situations while eating at McDonald's rather than in his office chair. I always associate money with major problems that need to be solved, and the best way to do that is to always be able to look at things from a different angle, says Buffett. The story of Albert Einstein from 1905 serves as a good confirmation of his words. In 1905, Albert Einstein. Intriguingly, Einstein wrote his 4 groundbreaking scientific papers that altered the fundamentals of modern physics and our comprehension of space, time, and matter in the Swiss patent office rather than in a physics laboratory. This environment prevented him from becoming bogged down in laboratory procedures. And when your working conditions differ from those of most others in your field, you can combine concepts from other fields and come to unexpected conclusions. Reading what other people read will make you think like them. And if you think like other people, you won't be able to think of anything original or novel. Instead, be inquisitive and look for hidden sources. Study what no one else has studied, and others will genuinely value what you have to say. Warren Buffett is well known for his straightforward yet insightful financial advice. According to him, people frequently spend their money on incredibly pointless and stupid items, which obstructs their path to wealth. However, by avoiding the most common financial mistakes, you can drastically change everything and eventually become wealthy. The first thing that all impoverished people do is disregard personal development. Buffett thinks that investing in oneself, improving your abilities, and obtaining a top-notch education are the best investments you can make today because they may greatly boost your income because businesses are always looking for knowledgeable workers. They want to find someone who already knows what to do and is willing to pay excellent money since they don't have the time for training. If you want to work for yourself, however, you'll never be competent in business and its procedures. The second mistake that all impoverished people make is using credit cards, which can be convenient and helpful, especially when there is a desire to buy something and your own funds are not yet sufficient, but the interest rates on credit cards are superfluous. Your knowledge and skills are assets that no one can ever take away from you, so try to gather as many of them as you can. Any advantages are completely outweighed by credit cards. If you find yourself behind on your payments, take a moment to determine how much you could realistically spend in a year to settle all of your credit card debt. You'll be shocked to hear that Warren Buffett advises eliminating this portion of your spending because, in the first place, you'll see spending more than you make and, in the second place, you'll save a sizable sum of money that you can use for your education. For instance, the next expense a poor person faces is the pursuit of the newest technology. New gadgets are always clever marketing ploys used by the contemporary world to entice consumers to buy a new product. But if you have made the decision to pursue enrichment, start by evaluating your needs and whether you really need a new gadget. It's possible that your old device still functions flawlessly and doesn't require replacement, in which case there's no need to spend money on it. Buffett, Warren, for instance, favors useful technology. The richest man in the world won't purchase a thing if he finds that it is essentially identical to what he already owns. Everyone visits bars, restaurants, and pubs, especially the underprivileged. Spending money on eating and drinking out is one of a person's biggest problems. Since we are all human, socializing and having fun are important parts of our social lives. If you decide to become wealthy, you should forget about this kind of luxury, especially when you are moving towards financial freedom. Your emotional well-being won't suffer, but your finances will be saved. So now is the time to treat yourself to nice clothes. Have you noticed that the majority of the world's wealthiest people, like Warren Buffett, have simple wardrobes? This is especially true for people striving to escape poverty. Forget about showy, cheap brands. You frequently pay too much for the privilege of wearing a t-shirt bearing a well-known brand. Instead, there are plenty of affordable alternatives available in stores that are frequently just as nice as the big brands. Another expense for the underprivileged is in used gym memberships. Did you know that, on average, 80% of people who purchased a membership stopped going? Fitness networks frequently run promotions where you can purchase a season pass for a year or 6 months at a very appealing price, but most people eventually stop going to the gym. Although purchasing an inexpensive subscription seemed like a great deal, you actually lost money by not utilizing it. Buffett promotes an active lifestyle but cautions against this kind of spending. If you're among those who purchased an annual subscription and then stopped going, try working out for free at home or outside, or think about purchasing a monthly subscription that requires you to visit the gym. Monthly subscription services are also a financial mistake made by poor men. Keep an eye on the subscriptions you regularly sign up for. Frequently, services that seem too good to refuse ask for credit card information, which is used to charge your card after the trial period expires. You receive an unexpected payment, recall about the subscription only after the transaction, make a self-promise to stop any auto-renewals, forget, and then you get charged again. This cycle continues, costing you money that could have been donated to worthy causes. Manage the subscriptions you have. If you find something on sale, Make a note to turn off the renewal at the end of the sale. Better yet, do it a day or two beforehand, as some services like to write off money. Warren Buffett advises against buying new cars because they are known to wear out quickly. Instead, the billionaire suggests searching for used brands and holding on to them for as long as possible. Additionally, keep in mind that all cars require regular maintenance. If you intend to make such a significant purchase, consider how you will maintain your vehicle going forward and, before you do, consider whether you really need it given your financial situation. It is not unusual for people to purchase such a luxury item because they want to feel comfortable like other people, but in reality, their financial situation does not allow for such an expense. The main cause of poverty for many people is financial errors, so pay close attention to them. However, before you do, give this video a thumbs up if you want to achieve impressive financial success. This is the first but most crucial step on the road to wealth. The next mistake is gambling, even though it may seem like a quick way to get richer. Warren Buffett emphasizes how crucial it is to comprehend the likelihood of success. Instead of concentrating on short-term wealth alternatives, the billionaire advises people to gamble wisely and make long-term financial decisions. Many people have been burned by the same thing. We often waste large sums of money in the hopes of striking it lucky. This cycle can repeat repeatedly, so it's good to know when to stop. But some people become totally engrossed in the excitement and fail to realize that long-term planning and deliberate actions are far more crucial than making quick money. Not to be forgotten is smoking, which not only costs a lot of money but also has a bad effect on your health. I'm sure you've read articles on the financial savings associated with giving up smoking. Not to add that a quick computation can give you a figure in the thousands of dollars, which will undoubtedly cause your personal budget to rise significantly. It is significant to note that in addition to helpful financial advice, Warren Buffett is regarded as one of the greatest investors of all time, which indicates that this is the man who knows what you need to do to quadruple your capital. The millionaire highlights that creating good financial habits is the first and most crucial human quality that needs to be acquired if one wants to become truly wealthy. Addressing students, we would all like to break some habits, but the most important one we should acquire is the habit of saving money properly. Buffett once said that much of our behavior is determined by habit, and it is not for nothing that they say its chains are too light to notice at first and too heavy to break when you finally notice them. To make this easier for you, it's best to set up an automatic deduction of a tiny sum from every paycheck you receive, and make use of apps that display the portion of your monthly expenditure on distinct product categories. Rule number 1. Never lose money. Rule number 2. Never lose money. The first rule is one you should never forget. It may seem strange, since very few people believe that losing money is a good idea, but it is actually very wise and practical advice to avoid risk as much as possible to be successful and live happily. Billionaire Warren Buffett himself followed this rule and never made risky investments. He claimed that the truly successful are those who say no to almost everything and don't keep all of their money in an account. They live happily and successfully. Another surprising suggestion, given that Buffett's fortune is expected to reach $15 billion by 2023 and that his company, Berkshire Hathaway, always has $20 billion in cash on hand to spend at any time. This seems irrational and goes against the general principle of finance, which states that money should be invested rather than kept under the mattress. Buffett loses a lot of money if the money isn't invested in a project that doesn't turn a profit, but that's what kept Warren's company afloat during the 2008 crisis. Buffett compares cash to oxygen in a business, saying that you should never think about it when you have it and only think about it when you don't have it. In some way, money is more reliable than checks. It's crucial for people whose income fluctuates in particular. Should observe this guideline, make prudent borrowing decisions. Buffett advises against incurring needless debt. Credit cards, loans with installments, mortgages will all result in a situation where your loan payments surpass your living costs, at which point you won't be able to reverse course. I have witnessed a great deal of people go bankrupt due to an obsessive demand for credit, but I have also witnessed a great deal of people fail because of alcohol. You can make money without credit if you're savvy. Observe minor costs. The most intriguing example of Buffett's attentiveness to little expenses occurred when he purchased a business whose owner counted toilet paper rolls to determine whether or not he was being duped. Buffett always pays attention to tiny expenses and only trusts frugal people. China that. Consider thinking in terms of a decade, not a month. Most people make the same mistake of trying to make the most of the present moment. Don't chase the quick bob. Instead, focus on gradually building your strength and confidence over a lifetime. Warren Buffett and Bill Gates decided to grab a snack at the neighborhood McDonald's. To everyone's surprise, Buffett insisted on paying the bill himself. Successful investing, according to Warren Buffett, needs time, discipline, and patience. Some things just take time. For example, having a baby in a month doesn't necessarily depend on your aptitude or level of effort. 9 ladies becoming pregnant. Buffett advised considering decades to progressively accumulate the funds required for your retirement or your children's schooling. Learn as much as you can about money. Go to bed at night smarter than you woke up in the morning. Buffett stated that a large portion of his work as an investor is to reduce risk and cut costs. He further stated that the risk to the average person is not a financial year, but rather what happens when you don't know what you're doing. The more you learn about money and the laws of money, the more financially literate you become, and the more adept you become at managing your money and making the most of it, regardless of how much you have. Warren Buffett once said, "I wouldn't give up a plane, but if you get a lot of them, it will do the opposite." This is because, in his opinion, it frequently happens that a large number of possessions begin to own the owner themselves. As a result, don't forget about other equally important values. For example, health is vital. Without it, success is impossible. The same is true for friends. After health, the billionaire believes that his friends are the most important thing. In 1951, Buffett was not even 21 years old when he took a train to Washington, D.C. and knocked on the door of, worked for Benjamin Graham, his future mentor, at the insurance company Geico. Following Buffett's audacious arrival at Graham's office, Graham gave the young man a 4-hour lesson about the insurance sector. Graham would later take over as CEO of Geico, and Buffett would continue to have a long-standing relationship with the business even now. All of this would not have happened if Buffett hadn't dared to show up at Geico that day 72 years ago, but boldness pays off when you make difficult decisions. Initially, Berkshire Hathaway's primary market was textile mills. Buffett supported them for many years, but in 1985 he sold the mills because the business was no longer profitable. Berkshire owns Geo. Buffett calls Berkshire's insurance interests one of the company's crown jewels. Warren had to make a difficult decision, but it was necessary for his success in the future. These circumstances occur frequently in life. For instance, saving money on a retirement fund might be more advantageous than taking an expensive vacation. The road to financial success is paved for every wealthy person before they go to sleep. Almost all impoverished people will not do this. Instead, it is about making plans every night before going to bed. Make a list of the tasks that must be completed in the morning in order to move closer to your desired heights. Every evening, evaluate your performance for the day, make conclusions, and change course. Put the tasks in writing. Go to sleep and wake up. You will have a ready-made plan and a roadmap in your thoughts that you may follow to achieve unbreakable success on paper. This is the primary financial channel. Please subscribe.